together.
The New Mutants was released in 2020 by, when it was, 20th Century Fox as a spin-off of the X-Men franchise. It follows Danielle Moonstar, aka Mirage, and she's played by Blue Hunt, which is a pretty cool name. But after her reserve is destroyed by a mysterious force, she falls unconscious and she wakes up in a, in quotes, hospital with 4 other mutants that are being told they're being helped and trained to go out into the world for themselves, but of course that's not the case. Strange things start to happen as soon as Danielle arrives, and it tries to do some sort of horror stuff, but unfortunately it's classed as a horror movie, and when it does do some of the horror stuff, it's quite cool, but it doesn't commit. It needs to commit full to the horror, and it just didn't do it. Now, this film obviously received very, very poor reviews, and it obviously didn't do very well. And I think that's because it's a very slow film. When you have a film called The New Mutants, you want to show off the mutant powers as much as you can, and unfortunately it's very slow, and they just don't do that. It's trying to be like a superhero, like a mutant superhero thing and a horror thing, and it doesn't mesh it very well together. Now, of course, Anya Taylor-Joy is magic in this, which is pretty cool. However, Anya Taylor-Joy is in everything now. I mean, I tend to find that with modern movies that the certain handful of actors appear in every major thing that's happening, which didn't really ever used to happen back in the day. You know, which was it's a bit bizarre. But I mean, no shade on her. She's an actress. She's getting work. She's doing really well. So more power to her. It's just, I've just noticed she's appearing in nearly everything now. Also, Maisie Williams is a, not her fault, but she is a half-assed Wolfsbane. That is a lot weaker and not as cool looking as her comic counterpart. And all she does is literally just, when she does do some fighting, she just bitch scratches. I did chuckle and laugh. I thought it was quite funny. Now, Charlie Heaton from Stranger Things is Cannonball. His power set is pretty cool, where he just launches himself flying and whatnot. And because of Danielle arriving and her power as Mirage, because she can obviously create illusions, there's some cool scenes where, you know, everybody's fears are starting to come true and whatnot. You know, there's some cool stuff there within his backstory, but he really doesn't do a lot. And then you have Henry Zaga as a, what I refer to in my notes as a sissy Sunspot. He is Sunspot, but he is just a sissy, essentially. Like, we had Sunspot at the beginning of Days of Future Past, and he was a badass. Here, he's just a wimpy sissy, basically. Which I thought, oh, okay, well, more power to you then. Now, like I said, they're trying the horror angle, and the X-Men are mentioned in the movie, which is pretty cool. But they should have went full in horror, because there's next to no action whatsoever. But the end of the film does have some good action and have some good moments. Like with Magic bringing in Lockheed, because she's carrying him around as a teddy, and I thought, like, when it all kicks off at the end of the film with the laughing men or smiling men or whatever they're called, from Magic's illusion, because Danielle's powers have made all their fears manifest themselves, like Demon Bear and stuff, who is pretty cool, and they all start fighting. It's really awesome, but there should have been more. There should have been scenes of them trying to train them to use their powers, and they could have introduced a kind of danger room thing or something and had them training. Anything, really, just anything. I was waiting for something to happen for most of the film. And the love story between Mirage and Wolfsbane is actually pretty well done. Doesn't feel forced, doesn't feel like it was put in there to tick a box or anything. It actually feels natural. So that was pretty good. The film just has some good ideas. It was just executed overall really poorly. And I mean, I'd say if you're bored and you really have nothing else to watch, give it a watch. But as it's not continuing anymore, and I don't think the MCU are using it, it's a non-entity essentially. It's just, I think it's just a failed experimenting movie, and that's just a shame. But please let me know in the comments down below what you think of New Mutants, and as always, thank you very much for watching.